Have you ever noticed what most people that are successful, as well as people that tend to get into a lot of trouble, have in common? I'm gonna tell you what I notice, and I think it's consistency. Consistency into good actions and bad actions. They all have a consequence. Today's episode is Read, Rest, and Rise Up, leading in your own way. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Esther Flores, and I'm your host here at Cafe Entre Amigos. Welcome. Success didn't happen for me when I copied someone else's routine at 4:30 a.m. The type of routine where you wake up and you go and do plunges and take a cold shower and give it your all, and then you go to the gym. Success to me is something that happens very slowly and gradually, and you don't even realize when it's happening because you are so busy working and trying to make it that you don't realize when this is happening, which is a good thing. For me, when I learned to read people clearly, protect my energy, and work with my biology as a woman and not against it, is when I found the equilibrium to be able to give my all to my family and all of my projects. Today, I'm giving you a practical playbook on how to choose your inner circle, avoid energy drain, lead with your own power, and turn your pain into a ladder instead of something that drags you down. No gossips, just us, because we can. Go grab your cup of coffee and let's talk. I just want to make a quick note before we start. This is not judging. This is just reading patterns, potential problem starting, and how to manage and avoid certain situations based on pattern reading. Is something that they teach you how to do when you're in kindergarten. Triangle, circle, triangle, triangle, circle, triangle. What's gonna come after the circle? The triangle. So it's just basically that. It's not judging people because everybody has their own circumstances and why they live the way they live and how they manage their things because of how they manage it. What you're gonna learn is understanding. Once you understand why someone acts the way they do and where they come from, judgment disappears. You just have understanding. And once you have that understanding on how people operate, and it's going to make your life easier when it comes to how I've been conducting myself in business for the last few years. I go and use something that I call I read the room. R, it stands for reactions. E for the effort they make whenever I am in contact with them. A for accountability, and D for direction. So reactions. Let's say I meet somebody and they're very eager to either do business or in friendship. I look at how they react to certain things, to certain words. If I set a small boundary, how does this person respond to that boundary? With respectful curiosity or with guilt trips and silent treatment? If I say, hi, thank you, no, I'm okay, I think I will wait for the next time, or I don't feel comfortable doing this or doing that, or I don't think it's a good idea, I'll pass. How do they react to that? Do they immediately shut down? Do they guilt trip me into trying to make something happen? The E for effort, what I was saying is that, do they take initiative? Do they show up on time if there's an appointment to make? If do they do what they say they're gonna do? I remember back in the day they used to say your word is your everything. That's how I still conduct myself in my business. I learned during my 20s, late 20s, that if you are not consistent with what you say you were going to do, trust is really hard to come by, especially in a work environment. And accountability, it is really important for me when people actually take accountability for the mistakes that they've made. If they don't and they're always denying or blaming someone else for their own mistakes, to me it's a big no-no in business, because that means that person is not willing to learn and is not willing to advance, and they are stuck. For me, in my personal life and in business life, that is a big no-no to deal with those kind of people. If you don't know how to take directions, or you are not able to take direction, making choices on how Making choices that I know will affect others is something that I always consider. Whenever I make a choice, it's not that I care what people say, because I really, the opinions of others towards me really does not affect me personally. I still make the decisions that I will make, and I still do what I have to do. But I do consider how impactful everything I say will become. And that leads me to another point, because everything that you do, everything that you say, someone will always be watching. And if you have children, they will be the first ones watching you and learning from your actions. Now, for me, when I meet all types of people, the green flags, as you say, would be how consistent they are, how respectful, how calm under stress they are, the ability that they have to apologize when they made a mistake, or apologize without apologizing if they deny any wrongdoing. People that also make promises and don't fulfill them, it's a big no-no for me. It's not that I'm judging them, it's that I am learning their patterns, so I avoid, or not even avoid, I learn how to deal with people. It's something that I learned, like I said, in my late 20s. And if I probably would have been taught this as growing up as a teenager, I think I would have avoid a lot of things, as many of us. Liking someone is not mandatory. You know, when you have that thing like, I don't know what is it about this person that it just doesn't click. But if you just met somebody and you are or immediately saying, I don't like them, I don't know why. Is it because of a gesture they did? Is it because of something they said? Is it because of how they acted or looked at someone? You need to be able to really understand and recognize those patterns in order for you to understand why you don't like that person and why you won't allow that person in your inner circle. One of my big red flags is when I meet people immediately that are complaining about others, or they don't celebrate people's success. By the contrary, they mock them and they celebrate their failures. That is someone that is not ready to learn, and is stuck in some kind of situation personally in their own life, which is how they do judge others based on what happened to them. So the people that I have really, really close to me, that I am able to express myself, work with, are people that tell me the truth no matter what. But in a kind way. Sometimes it requires them some kind of effort, but they tell me the truth. They are kind. Those people keep a promise. They respect my boundaries. They celebrate my victories and advise me when I fall. Those type of people don't necessarily come by every day. You're gonna have a lot of people pleasing, and that tell you yes, 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 and they smile at your face, and then behind you they're saying all kinds of things about you. Those type of people you have to learn to recognize, and you recognize them by exactly what I said: accountability, promise keeping, how they express themselves about others is a big thing in business and personally. And having a really strong inner circle is what it will allow you to be able to develop as a human, as a professional, as a parent, as a daughter, as a friend. That inner circle is going to be really important if you have goals that you want to accomplish. Any decision that you make personally, professionally, and it's gonna give you that support system that you have for good and bad decisions. If you have people pleasing all the time, you won't get that. For a long time, I believe that success lied on the amount of pain and tears I put into something, and that's how I conducted myself for the longest. I worked so hard, more than I even had to, sometimes for other people, and when it came to my own business, I literally lived through success equals pain plus more pain. I try to bulldoze through things even pushing past my physical limits. I ignore my cycles, I ignore rest, and I called it my self-discipline. And now I understand that it wasn't discipline, it was just depletion. For me, now I understand discipline is just how constant you are. If you are constant, which is discipline, on something, that is gonna get you. Sometimes discipline gets you further than intelligence. What good is it if you have intelligence but you have no discipline? Consistency is number one key. And I learned that in my early 30s. As women, we are not we are not a cookie cutter. We are not perfect. God knows that we have our things that we have to deal in the monthly basis too. But our energy and our focus and emotions have to move. They move usually with seasons and within a month itself. And that I've come to embrace and understand that that is not a weakness. It's an actual ability to push through my times. And this is what I call my data, my personal data. Now, the way I started adjusting my plan in order to be successful is within those windows. Let's say on my build-up days, I schedule that I make sure that I have enough rest to start those hard weeks. So there's 4 weeks in a month. What I do is I schedule deep work for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Thursday, I would do doctor's appointments on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I completely disconnect because I don't know if you heard that women need more sleep than men do. And I happen to think that is true. I'm a mom, so I don't really get a lot of sleep unless my kids are sleeping. And with a year and a half old baby, sometimes that's kind of hard to come by. And on my low energy days or on low days, I would say, I rest. I do administrative work sometimes. I do gentle tasks. Now, I do what I need to do in order to keep here sane and calm. Now, for some women, it helps to meditate, which is, I love doing that. That's the one thing that I do. For some others, is the gym. For others, is to read a book, which I also do sometimes when I have the time. And for others, it's just simply talking to a friend or be on the phone, which I don't really recommend because we all get addicted to that screen moving up and down. But rest, sleep. Sleep, it's a number one thing for you to accomplish anything. When I say rest is sometimes when I'm in that deep week dive, let's say, I take a 20-minute nap if my brain if I started to get foggy and sleepy, if I'm able to. I just do that and then right away. Now, I'm saying this, I work on my own. I'm an entrepreneur and I have my own business and I'm able to do that. But if you're not, you know what I used to do too when I would work for somebody else? In my break, I would go in my car, open my window, or sometimes the car running, which I don't recommend, and I would take, my break would used to be 30 minutes. I would take a nap. I would eat a banana or I would eat an apple and then I would take a nap. I would set my alarm and I would take a nap. And I would wake up so refreshed because being on front of a screen all day long, doing administrative work can also be mentally draining. In order to be successful, you don't have to copy anybody's plan of 4:30 a.m. I don't mean sleeping until 10 o'clock in the morning and just wake up at 11 and start your day and work for 2-3 hours. What I mean is you have to be consistent. And the number one thing, it would just be your sleep. And understand that everyone in this life has those difficult times that don't allow you to do and be consistent, okay? Everybody's gonna have pain, everybody's gonna have problems, but pushing through the discipline and consistency and doing what needs to be done within the time frame that you've promised yourself and you establish yourself is what's gonna give you success. And when you don't even realize it's gonna be there, but you've been so busy trying to be consistent and trying to show up that you didn't even notice as it was happening. Now, when I say that everybody gets it's visited by pain or has circumstances, I mean literally everybody. Whether you're rich, you're poor, you're spiritual, you're logical, suffering is attached most of the time to any type of pain that you go through, because we're focusing on ourselves. And if you really think about it, thinking about ourselves only, it's a selfish act. And because the nature of a human is to think about ourselves, is when we start becoming frustrated and we start becoming like we are less or more than. My one advice would be, remove yourself out of that thought. Just start thinking, we can all be selfish for a moment, but the moment you start feeling like you're starting to suffer more than others, and why me, remove yourself out of that situation and just stop yourself and think, what do have that I need to be appreciative for? The moment that you do that, your brain shifts and it stops me. I promise you, because I do this. The moment you do that is when you start feeling, wow, I have airs in my lungs, I have two hands, I have two legs, I have a car, I have a job, I have a place to live, or I have a beautiful wife, or I have a beautiful husband, I have healthy kids. I'm going to tell you a little story. The other day, I was coming out of Publix and I was about to complain. I was by myself in the car with my baby and I was about to start complaining about why did I have, like, basically my thought was, why do I have to do all of this, right? That was just my thought. And as that is crossing my mind, I didn't even say it out loud. I see this woman to my left, and this woman, she clearly had some kind of deformity or something going on, that she had to have this cane or this thing that she had to help herself walk, because one leg was kind of and I'm sorry, I apologize for my ignorance, was she wasn't able to walk. It wasn't a cane, it was one of those metal things that you put under your arm. And she it was clearly that she either she was born with it or she had that growing up. And she had her two daughters. The one daughter on the right hand, she probably wasn't bigger than 3, and the other one on her left, and she probably was like 8 or 9. And she looked so beautiful, well cared for. She was talking to her daughters, and all of them were singing, and they were walking, and the little girls were helping her mom, and she was happy. They were happy, and I saw her and I was like, oh my gosh, she is happy and she has this, and I am complaining because I have to do this, and I have all of this. And I said to myself, wow, I started crying, and I felt so bad for even thinking of myself. I believe that moment right there was brought to me by God, to make me appreciate life again. The only way out of feeling depressed or feeling like I'm stuck is appreciation. And I know that for many of you, this could work as well. If you have really no idea where to start or who to hear, if I'm able to help you in any way, borrow my words today. Take them, use them. It won't hurt you to try. The most valued thing that you have in this life is not money. It's your time. It's the amount of effort that you put into things. If you put 0 effort into trying to do anything, that's what you're going to get back. I've always felt that life doesn't owe me anything. But if I'm putting my effort and I'm working hard and I am being consistent with what I'm doing, I definitely deserve something back. Whatever you set out to do, people will start to notice. People will see your actions. You have no idea how many people you will influence by just setting yourself out to do and accomplishing your goals. Many people will learn from you even if you don't notice. As I said before, we are unique individuals. I don't have what you have, and you don't have what I have. So whatever it is that you do, people learn through actions, and they will set out to be not like you, but to learn and move forward like you. But if he did it, why can't I do it? Exactly. If I'm doing it, why can you? If they are doing it, why can you? It's a perfect example of leadership without yelling, leadership without telling you what to do, just by example. And you start focusing on your goals, which, by the way, as I said in the previous podcast, each task has to have, like, let's say if you have 4 things or 5 things to do during the week, schedule yourself. I know it seems silly if you only have 5 things to do, but schedule yourself. Give it the time. Today, I'm only going to focus on this, and I'm going to develop it to the max, hour by hour by hour, and make sure you put in your rest. That is the one thing that I will tell you. Schedule it, develop it, and focus only on that day, because that will allow you to develop and complete the task in its entirety. Success is a result of actions, consistent actions throughout the time. If you are consistent with what you're doing, success will come. Is protect your inner circle. Make sure that your inner circle is the correct one. You don't need people pushing. If you're a young person, you don't need people pushing drugs into you. Or if you're a young person, you don't need someone telling you, oh, let's go party here, it'll be fun. When you know that you have a deadline to make in a school, or when you know that it doesn't go and it doesn't align with the person that you're trying to be. Real friends respect your boundaries. Real friends, real people that love you, respect those, and they are not pushing bad things into you. Professionally, you need people in your inner circle that are respectful, that again, respect your boundaries, to learn to listen, to take accountability, and they are willing to grow if they make a mistake, to learn from it and move forward. If you work for somebody and you are in an environment when there's a lot of, you could say, toxicity, what you could do as a person that needs that job is, and I learned this in my mid-30s, is to be respectful, not comment on anyone's life, not judge anybody, just simply go, be polite, analyze people, and act accordingly. Do not be to try to assimilate, change who you are, because that will get you to lose yourself and forget what your main goal is. And what is your main goal? To grow as a person. It's how to lead in your own way. It can be done. You just need to have a clear set of what your boundaries are, professionally and personally. It can be done. You need to rest. You need to learn to read people. You need to make sure to protect that you have the right inner circle within you, and you need to be consistent. Suffering is something that you choose. Pain will happen to everybody. Remember that. But it's how you choose to react to that pain, whether to take it and push you to be better, or to take that pain and make you sink. You don't want that. And also remember that no matter who you are, someone is always watching you, and therefore you become a person of influence. You are unique in your own way. Nobody is like you, and that is not something wrong. That is something wonderful. You are so unique that anything that you do, anything that you touch, anything that you say will change someone's life forever. And I can guarantee you that, whether it's your parents, whether it's your family, whether it's your brother, your sister, your cousins, someone's life will be affected because of the decisions that you make. So choose wisely. For all of you that are listening, I want to thank you for supporting us, for supporting the channel, and for following and liking the show and the episodes. We are available in all platforms such as Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music. And if you really like the content and you want to hear some more, we are really looking forward to new themes. We are eager to hear from you. Make sure you comment and like if you're on YouTube, and share it with your friends. My name is Esther, and this is Cafe Entre Amigos. See you next